I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
I've been doing this, I'm on it, I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it, you know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic, keep them out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy, the enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me, I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this, freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus, living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it, go on and take your aim, yeah.
Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grieving. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing, yeah.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective, in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
When we get to the FBI, we don't know who did the work. You heard that any of that information is redacted. We don't know who did the work. It's a giant secret. We know that by the time the FBI gets involved, the profile, the text file, that's a snip to use to try to identify somebody is more than twice as big when it gets to the FBI from Othram. We don't know how.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? It's good to be back. Still on island time. Didn't even have time to change my shirt before the stream. Just kidding. Just kidding. Although Mrs. Birdie and I did have a day of hell traveling home. We were supposed to be home early afternoon, and we got home at 2:30 last night. So other than that, the trip to the Bahamas was incredible. My voice did not get any better, unfortunately. So I am trying my best this evening. The good thing is that although it's raspy, it doesn't hurt. So bear with me for the next couple of days. But yeah, it's great to be back. If by chance this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Birdie. I go live weeknights at 7 p.m. Central. This is the Hive Mind. It's a contrarian thinking live stream. We think past the headlines. We question the narrative. If you are somebody that looks into everything and questions everything, you are amongst friends and you have found your people. Now, I have a couple ways that I could go about this stream. I'm going to continue with our classic format of Discord question of the day, saying what's up to everybody. I have some video clips lined up, but I also have some pictures and some clips from the Bahamas. So I don't know. Would you guys rather start with a quick 5-minute thing about the trip, get that out of the way, or do you want me to wait till the end? One's in the chat if you want me to do it now, because I do have some slides prepared. There was a lot of people asking for it. What's up, Sherlock? Good to see you. All right, we will do the slides first. 1 second. Let me just pull them up. All righty. So we were down in the Bahamas, as I said. We had a hell of a trip. It was a great time. We swam with pigs. We did a jet boat ride. This is about as long of a clip as Mrs. Birdie was able to get of the jet boat ride, but you guys will get the picture of it. This thing was hauling ass over the waves. So that's about as much of a clip as we got of it. But yeah, we went to an incredible dinner the first night where they had a bunch of dancers, and those are always fun. We did something like that when we went to Maui. So that always like sets the tone. It really makes you feel like you're over and out of the United States in a different country. This little guy would not, this little piggy, this dude would not leave me alone. He was starting to scare me. He chased me a little bit, and Aubrey had to go, "Don't run." They said, "Don't run," as I'm starting to trot away. And this is Big Bertha, I think they called her. And before we did this, I was looking up, like right hand of God, I was looking up how often do these pigs bite people? Okay. I didn't want to like be standing in the water. I'm thinking of like, if they like went number 2 in the water, I'm like, I don't want that near me. And everybody reassured me there's no chance of you getting bit by these pigs. And sure enough, later that day, we're at the pool and I see some chick walking around with a giant bandage on her hamstring. She got bit by a pig and had to go to the hospital. I was like, I told you, hon. That's why we had to avoid those things. But yeah, it was an incredible trip. And I will finish this little trip update with a tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day. I have never, ever experienced anything, because the tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day has to do with me and Mrs. Birdie meandering over to a casino late at night. You'll probably be able to tell by the way that I'm talking. And we started playing a slot machine. Now, out of nowhere, a ball drops and it says major, which is one of the jackpots. The major, this ball, is worth $5,530. Okay. You can see how small the other ones are, 60, not small, but clearly this is a jackpot. And then you guys see this blue box? This blue box pops up and it says performing memory check. Please wait. And Mrs. Birdie was grabbing us drinks. I pull my phone out and I take this photo, and thank God I did, because you guys are going to have, you just watch this. This is insane.
It literally was on the screen.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so glad I pulled my phone. That's $5,500. That's the only ball that's gone.
It's the only ball that disappeared. Okay. So I'm thinking to myself, this has got to be some sort of a mistake that they would be able to say, oh yeah, it glitched. Well, no, apparently, if there's any malfunction on a slot machine, it voids everything. And I'm like, hold on. I have a photo of it on the screen. I have this entire thing like documented. And they go, I'm sorry. If you want us to investigate it, it'll be 10 weeks. And I'm like, there's no way that I'm just going to walk away from this that quickly. So Mrs. Birdie ended up going up to the room. I was down there until 3:30 in the morning, Hive. I was like, there's got to be a slot technician here. There's got to be somebody here, right? I know 10 weeks. I'm not ever hearing or seeing that money back. So to make a long story short, I'm talking to these guys. They do believe me, or it seems like they believe me. They're like, we've never seen this happen either. So this manager comes back and he says, the best we can do is give you the money that's in the machine, and we can give you $1,200. And when he said that, I actually thought to myself, holy shit, they do know what happened, because I don't think that if it was a malfunction, they would really offer me anything. You know what I mean? So then I started kind of being like a little bit more on guard. I'm like, is this just a matter of me like pressing them harder? And I'm like, well, okay, that's fine, but that's also only like a quarter of what it was. Can you throw in a spa day for my wife? Can you do something? And I'm not really ever like that. And they were like, no, you can take $1,200 or you can leave it. So I'm like, all right, it's 3:30 in the morning. So I ended up going up there, or I took it, and that was that. But yeah, it was quite a fun trip, to say the least. Definitely interesting. And what do you guys think? Do you guys think I got scammed out of this? Type of 1 if you think I got scammed. Type of 2 if you think that this was just them being nice with the $1,200, which is great again, but it's like you get, I don't know if you, doesn't seem like an easy jackpot to win. Yeah. I woke up in the morning and I'm just like, oh my God, I probably like, I should have stayed down there. Kind of had a little bit of scaries, like the scaries about it, but yeah, that's wild. And then we ended up, not the 1,200, but we ended up losing like our original money. So I'm like, geez, what a disaster. Then we got delayed for 12 hours. So nonetheless, let's get into it. All right. So I appreciate everybody that wished us well. And thank you again for everybody that said that they wish we had a fun trip. And I'm happy to be back. Feel recharged. I just got to get my voice right. So now getting into the theme of the stream, we're going to be talking about, what I'm going to say and start to call them is, these are fatal secrets. Whatever's being redacted clearly got people killed. I think we know that. But I'm saying it's not just redacted. It's like a giant secret. There's a difference when something's redacted in other documents that we've seen with whether it's Epstein or other high profile cases, the general public could kind of figure out somewhat, just not exactly who. There seems to be an entire lockdown on what happened, not just names redacted. It's not like, oh, who did that? Okay. And so that's going to be the theme. I know that I just bounced over to the trip. I do want to say, as a reminder, if you guys have not hit like or subscribe, please go ahead and do so. You guys can tap this QR code. That will take you to all of the Hive socials. And if you don't want to exit out now and go to it, just screenshot it. Like I said, it'll be in your photos, and you can just tap that QR code. Check out HiveMindStore.com. And then also another quick announcement. This is a small housekeeping thing. So going into spring and summer, just because I think going to the Bahamas and realizing that I streamed every day for 361 days without taking more than a day off. Going into this spring and summer, Ms. Birdie and I, we love to go up north. So I will be starting this week just doing Monday through Friday streams. Okay. So Saturdays and Sundays, if they do happen, it'll be completely impromptu, but Monday through Friday now, 7 p.m. And I think that will be good, not only for my voice, but just I think also just for the balance of hanging out up north. We love to do that. So now back to the Hive here. Tiffany's tuning in, Lisa Marie, Lauren Lovely, Texas teacher, UFO Dog, Heart of Gold, Luna Bliss, Charlie from Australia, Dylan Mort, great to see you. Oh my God, Mermaid Redacted Beehole. The comments on that stream a couple nights ago were epic. Your shirt should arrive tomorrow. That's exciting. That's awesome. That is awesome. Germilla, Polar Life Force, Vixie Blaze, that's a cool name. Genuinely Confused. Dina Sites, Coco Cash, Davina Duvall, UK Kaylee, Brad Harris, Jennifer Bowe, Tipsy Turvy, Pinto Sax, Luther Dare says, go watch a hockey game. I do like hockey. UFO Dog, I already said what's up to. Growth Renewal, formerly known as Beck, Nebula, Chickadee, Lovely Me, Steven, Kreger, It's a Shannon Thing, Luna Rose, Bondage Barbie, what's going on? Covert Introvert, Jesse Ray, Mommy, Milker, Mindy 69, great to see you. Jennifer, Monica Dickinson, UK Cheese Farmer Side Piece. That's enough of that, okay. Chantel, hey, it's Ray. Queen of Jokers. I already said what's up. Mad Hatter, Truth Matters. T-Goat. What's up? So, all right, here we go. Starting with the Discord question of the day. This was an epic take from one of the OG Hive Mind Roundtable members, Big Forehead, Big Dreams. And Big Forehead, Big Dreams asked, does anyone else remember the rumors that Maddie was almost trafficked at that infamous pool party a few months before the murders? It's the one where someone supposedly had pics of BC, Brian Koberger, as well as Emma and Demetrius in attendance. Now knowing that Dylan was interviewed by Detective Gooch, who happened to be a main player in the anti-trafficking task force in the area, I'm wondering if the trafficking angle runs deeper than we think in this case. As of right now, I believe that Dylan was the only one interviewed by Gooch. I put this up here for a couple of reasons. I thought that it was a really good take on Detective Gooch and interviewing Dylan. As far as I know, that's accurate. I do believe that Detective Gooch has only talked to Dylan. Is there anybody that's heard that she's interviewed other people? I don't remember that specific. I remember the pool party rumors. I don't remember the rumor about Maddie being trafficked. So that was kind of the two-pronged reason for choosing this question of the day. Is I do agree that Detective Gooch is the only one that has interviewed Dylan, and knowing that she was part of the anti-trafficking task force, maybe knowing who Dylan has ties to via Quinn, but the rumors of Maddie being trafficked, I just don't remember it. I'm curious how many people do. I'm just checking out the comments here quick. Yeah, Monica says, I remember a pool party, nothing about trafficking. UK Kaylee says, Gucci, Gucci, goo. Christ. Brandon, that's a good take as well. I think it runs pretty deep to begin with. Big Mike Bam says, Birdie, bring on the trafficking angle. That's what they're hiding. I'm here for it. Here's my honest, full transparency take on the trafficking angle is that does seem to be big enough to have this much secrecy and all the oddities. We know there's a giant push on human trafficking, and what could go along with that is a group that might be involved with it that also is smuggling drugs or guns, right? It could absolutely be a part of it. I really do think that is the level of what something would have to be at if it had to do with human trafficking. I could totally see that. Well, maybe that's why they have a lot of data, right? Which I have a slide about the data because I was laying by the pool on vacation and I was just thinking about some of this stuff. And I'm like, that is still just so crazy how there's so much data for this and not for the others. And I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that in a few slides. But yeah, this was a great question. Big forehead, big dreams. Thank you. If anybody could track down a post or a video or a TikTok or something from back in the day about that pool party specifically with Maddie, that would be interesting. If anybody's got that in their files or if they screen recorded it, post it in our Discord. Krista Janice, thank you so much for the super chat. As a reminder, any super chat over $4.99 will pop up right here. I will address it immediately. Where'd that go? And Krista Janice asked, I saw a TikTok about the G family's business and how sketchy it is, and they are possibly in the business of trafficking. All that's obviously alleged. There are some companies that I know people like True Crime Design have done a really good video on tracing back the origin of them. Are they shell companies? Are they real companies? Right. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors about the business side of stuff with that family. No doubt about it. No doubt about that. You got to follow the money. You got to absolutely follow the money. Also, I saw this when I was hanging out in the airport yesterday, and I screenshotted it. I wanted to put it on screen because how many times have we seen this photo, right? This is the photo that every single news organization used, right? And you could tell it's a cell phone, and it's like somebody's holding their phone up to their camera screen and they're taking it. Looking back now at this, isn't this still just so on par for this photo? And the graininess of the camera absolutely set the tone for what was to come with all video quality in this case. It has not gotten any better than this. The first photo that they released has set the tone for 1112, the Linda Lane stuff, even the Grub truck's blurry. It's all so weird. But here's what I didn't notice ever before. I had never seen the zoomed out photo. How many people in here have seen the zoomed out photo? You could see the dude's head and this. I mean, could you imagine if they would have released this? This is crazy. This is totally insane to me that this is what was released. They make it seem like this is what it was. I am shocked. This looks like somebody's taking a photo that has a ring. I thought it was maybe it's a guy, but that looks like let me take this banner or this media thing down. Does that look like, it looks like there's pictures on a wall, like they're They're just at their computer. It looks like there's a cabinet behind them. Like there's a decorative tree, maybe. So how much credibility does this photo lose if we were to just have seen that? It's a screenshot of a desktop. Yeah, I knew that story, but I just, oh my God. I have no idea. So I've never seen that one or that zoomed out version. Like I said, I thought that was very interesting. So now a lot of people have seen this Brian Enton interview, okay, with the Goncalves family. There's a specific part that if you listen closely, per usual, to what Steve G is saying, he's talking about something that's completely different. He's talking about, like, they don't know who they're dealing with, like these people. And it's like, are they talking about Ann Taylor and Brian Koberger when he's saying it like this? Or is he talking about what he knows? He knows that the prosecutors know it, and it just is all weird. And I want to just refresh everybody's memory that if you ever feel like that little voice in your head that says everybody seems to just getting like to just be getting shit on, or people tell them that they're crazy for, continuing to question this case, watch this interview through and through. I don't know if you should have a doubt in your mind that there's something completely wrong. So Luna had said that she started at around the 40-minute mark. It was the best time. So I'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, let's watch this real quickly. Oops. I wanted to try to be on the screen, but I don't know if I'll be able to.
Exact same time, multiple times, over and over and over again. That's what I believe personally, is my opinion, they were gonna establish in the case that they ran away from.
Have they warned you guys if there's more to come in terms of releases? Or
we know there is, just because we haven't even got to the original county yet. We're still in Ada County. All these releases are on Ada, so we haven't even got to the real meat of the releases. So yeah,
we know more's coming. We don't know what's in it.
We've been trying to find out about the leak investigation that we don't feel like's even happening. We think it's fake because we were the first. My lawyer was the first one to point out that there was a leak in this investigation before it ever even got to Dateline, and we've never even been contacted. He's never been contacted. So to us, there is no investigation going on whatsoever. So we emailed them directly, and they basically just.
So think about that. He's talking about this leak from Dateline. He's saying we've never been able to verify it. He thinks that it might be fake, that he doesn't even think there's an investigation going on with it. They are running a parallel construction with the narrative that by the time they have slowly dripped everything out and we've scratched and clawed to get to the truth of it, the Brian Koberger narrative will be so far removed from the picture that it'll be like people forgot that even happened. I swear, I really believe that it will be that dramatic of a difference if they were to just come right out and say this is the truth. It makes them look so bad. Then if they slowly drip it out, cause confusion, they can attack anybody that picks up on it in the meantime, shame them. But yeah, this is definitely going that route.
Told us, leave, get out of here. We're not going to tell you anything. We're not going to tell you the truth. You don't need to know the truth. We're going to do our investigation, and maybe you'll know what happened. And I said, you know what? You can say that, but I'll go to the media and I'll let people understand that that's the kind of leadership that we have in this case right now. We have very questionable leadership who's literally sitting here telling us that we don't have the right to know about the investigation that cost us a trial.
I mean, yeah, in hindsight, we think did the leak sabotage our case? Because, you know, weeks later we had a plea deal like thrown in our lap, and 3 days later we were sitting down in Boise, you know, giving this guy a plea deal. So we're like, did this leak, was it really detrimental to the case so bad that, you know, I mean, from what we were told was the defense came to prosecution and asked for the plea. But
well, the leak, how much of the leak was false and how much of the leak was true? And the leak literally talked about having his murder porn on his phone, all these pictures of other victims or
guys, listen to this. This is insanity. They would not, Brian Kohberger, I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm almost speechless. You got murder porn and other victims all over this guy's phone. I don't see how that line, I don't think it tracks at all. I just can't believe that this is being said. So it's like, who's saying this to them? Who's saying this to them?
this leak, was it really detrimental to the case so bad that, you know, I mean, from what we were told was the defense came to prosecution and asked for the plea. But
well, the leak, how much of the leak was false and how much of the leak was true? And the leak literally talked about having his murder porn on his phone, all these pictures of other victims or
passed out
drunk girls.
Yeah.
So you can look that up. All that stuff has been unsealed and been.
Is it a little bit weird that they said passed out and drunk, and the 911 call was for somebody who passed out? That, for whatever reason, that just popped out at me. So yeah, there's the murder porn, other victims, and girls passed out. 911 call was for somebody passed out. I don't know.
And verified. So
weren't they going to have a special prosecutor? Isn't that what the judge said?
Yes, he said they were going to assign a and he was going to come after that person, whoever did it, with vigor.
Yeah, Hitler has been a huge disappointment. I mean, he has been a massive disappointment. And we've been saying all we want to know is where it's at, because we're not being contacted, and we know who your leaks are. We've heard some of them. We were aware of some of these facts before they became public. So we could probably clear some of the stuff up, and they don't even want to talk to us because they're scared of what we've discovered and who would get fired if we actually put that on record. And they tell us, stop emailing us because you're making records.
Do they just want this all to end? Is that they just want to have this in the rearview mirror? I mean, what?
I don't know.
Yeah, they keep telling us, stop emailing us. You're making records. They literally told our lawyer.
What do they mean by that? Why can't there be records?
I don't know.
Well, if you raise these things up in court like we did, we raised this up and said, hey, there's a leak from the prosecutor. They're like, you're making records. Stop doing it. And I'm like, listen, you got to understand the people you're dealing with. I'm not going to be okay with these side deals that are going on. I don't know what's going on, but all I know is I'm getting to the truth. 100%. We're going to get to the truth. I don't care who gets in trouble. And that hasn't made it a very popular narrative. So now they're just like, stop emailing us, stop making records, just leave us alone. This is inappropriate.
They said they can't deny or confirm whether there's an investigation going on or not. We're not privy to that information.
Was that from the prosecution?
No, that was from the judge's clerk, the judge's assistant.
Yeah. His assistant literally basically said, you guys don't have the right to know. You don't have the right to know. And I'm like, listen, I have the right to know. You, judge, you don't have the right. I have more of a right to this case than you do. We can go get another judge. You can't get another father. You can't get another mother. Judges are a dime a dozen. They've overrated themselves. These parents are critical. You don't have these human beings without them. Judges, I don't want to be dismissive to them, but sometimes.
What are we even talking about? Am I the only one that feels that way? What are we talking about? These parents are critical to.
Sometimes they over-evaluate themselves. And in this case, Hitler's way overjudged himself.
Are you guys like doing okay overall, would you say?
It's hard.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing, but that is a wild question from Brian Enton that Steve just has a crash out and Brian follows up with.
They over-evaluate themselves. And in this case, Hitler's way overjudged himself.
Are you guys like doing okay overall, would you say?
It's hard. It's always something. I recently had not gone through any of Kaylee's stuff. So last week I started trying to like just go through Kaylee's things. So literally opening boxes that have been packed up since she passed away. So those boxes are coming from Moscow, and those were her room packed up exactly the way she left it. So I'm looking for certain things, and that has been it's been slow, but
Notes she wrote herself.
Little notes that she had on her little sticky pads, and her hairbrush, and her retainers, and clothes that you see her wearing a lot of the pictures. And
like I said, a judge, you're not as important as you think you are.
It just is all too much.
We are the victims, and if you're not there for the victims, then get out of the way. Get out of the way, Hitler. If you're not here to do a real investigation, get out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know why,
But we know until we get calls, it ain't real. It ain't real because we were the very first to tell them that this was what was going on. And we were right, because we knew about things like the white car, we knew about the sheath. And the thing is, Thompson knows. We asked him about the sheath before it became public, and his eyes just dropped out of his head. And he's like, how did you guys hear about this? And we're like, because you guys have people talking to the media. We're not special, but we are very committed to figure this out.
Ball.
Yeah, we do know things are being linked. We're trying to help your investigation by saying that this is going on. So reel it in, have a meeting, tell everyone they got to close their lips up, and let's get back on the same ship. But instead of that, they made us look like we were up to something bad. And, they went out, I think 3 days later, they put Shannon under a gag order.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Shannon literally calls them out, and their answer is to gag him. And people don't even realize what's going on. It's like, they're literally taking a family lawyer that we're working with and gagging him as if he's part of this investigation. This is the story. This is part of the story right here.
That's a great take. Sherlock, thank you for shouting out Teacup. Teacup said they trust the narrative, but not the people behind it. It literally makes no sense. Yeah, that's a goated comment for sure.
In front of you. And everyone's like, well, good. I'm glad they gagged their family. I'm glad. Well, guess what? Well, now you got this investigation you're never going to get to the truth of. And the first people who brought it to your attention, you told them to shut up and be quiet.
This was from 1 month ago, too, just so everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, you guys know like 99.99%. I told you this, Christy, too, of people support you guys. I mean, it's always just the vocal, people who are like, oh, he didn't do it. Or, just people who just want like some controversy and like to stir things up on the internet. Yeah. But I hope you guys feel like, almost everybody supports the families and thinks of you guys and just feels terrible.
And I've always been an aggressive Kaylee first type guy and Maddie first. So if I offend you with the way that I approach defending them, I don't care. And I told Hitler, it's not my job to protect the guy who killed my kid. That's your guys' job. And if I make your job difficult, I don't care about it. I don't care. You know how difficult it is to lose your child? Lose your child in the middle of this, and I'm supposed to feel sorry for you? Get over yourself. Get over yourself, Judge. If I made your job hard, too bad. Too bad. Get over it, man.
to lose your child in the middle of this. To lose your child in the middle of this. In the middle of what? In the middle of this cluster of a case that you're saying you're still dealing with that? That makes sense.
Get over it. Don't tell me how rough it is to go through a murder when your kid's asleep in her bed, getting higher educated, like graduating in days. And you're telling me how hard your job is because I'm talking to the media? Well, maybe you shouldn't be so scared of what I'm saying. Maybe you shouldn't be scared of what we're saying. If it's true, it's true. If it's not,
That was weird. It just kicked me out of the studio for a second.
that's what happens when you get a plea deal. You've lost all leadership. It's just turned over to the World Wide Web. Everyone's their own media network. Everyone can grab an iPhone and start freaking publishing as if they were like the legit real media, and they all spin it their own way, and there's no leadership to course correct and put things back on the right record. There is no more record. They literally wash their hands and say, it's done, it's over.
You know what my favorite thing is? To see people sit there and they all have their opinions, right? All these people, these are all opinions. And then we'll do a video, say on your show, and people will say in their in your comments, perhaps, you know, or Nancy Grace's comments or something, and say, I'm so sick of these people. I'm so sick of hearing what they have to say. So our opinions don't matter, but everybody else's do. We should sit down and shut up, and we should stop
about
talking.
Our own child.
But everybody else can just keep talking about it. I mean,
can I ask a serious question? This is a not meant to sound like a smartass. What is stopping them from going on Enton or Grace or somebody with a giant platform and just saying everything? If they are this dissatisfied with the judge and with the outcome and the way that it's handled, you've lost your daughter. It's been terribly difficult. Why not just go out there and say, this is what we've heard happened? Right? I don't know. Yeah. If you're so sure that you know the truth, what is preventing them from coming out and saying it? And talking cryptically is causing confusion. I don't know what it could be. And at the level that they're at, with to Brian Enton's point, where 99.9% of people support them, could you imagine if the FBI goes and arrests these two after they come out and leak some truth or blew the whistle on something? If Moscow thinks that they have a shitstorm, then imagine if they did blow the cover on this entire thing and they blew the lid off of it, and then the FBI took action against them. Now, I don't even think there would be a divide on that if they really did tell the truth. Everybody would be like, whoa, hold up. And now they're being prosecuted? I guess I'm just confused. What is taking so long if they're going through it like this? Just say it.
Yeah, if you think we should shut up, get a life. Nobody should shut up about their own child. And you weren't raised in the kind of family we were raised in if you ever stopped professing for your child. I'm going to profess till the day I'm dead. And then I will be quiet.
Well, I think for some people, it's just like a video game. Like, it's just, they just watch it. Yeah. It's like they haven't been to your house. They haven't met you guys. They haven't met your other family members. They haven't seen they don't see that it's a real, that you guys are real people. You're just like these characters on a TV screen, I think. You know what I mean?
Well, I get that. I think that's why I try to be forgiving and try to be like, you know what, don't even go down those paths. But it's hard. It's hard for her because she feels like that matters. And I've tried to tell her, you know what Kaylee and Maddie would think about how you defended them, that would matter. That would matter a lot more than a couple people's sentences.
I've just never seen a murderer, you know, in such a horrific crime to these 4 kids be defended so at such a high regard, just
There's a lot of sick people that relate with him.
defending, what he did or protecting him. I don't know if it just, trying just to, oh, he's innocent. He's just, so innocent. And poor Brian. I mean, it is just because I know 100% without a doubt who killed Kaylee.
Anybody with a brain knows his history since like literally middle school has been just problematic.
Yeah.
Girls. And the crazy thing is, it's a lot of times it's these crazy females that want to defend him. And if anybody was harassed by him and felt that they were threatened by him, it was females. So
he also admitted it. I mean, he could have had a trial. Like, I mean,
he admitted it and said, I'm not even going to fight it.
So I don't know, like, what.
But they're going to fight it for him.
Yeah, it's such a small percentage. So I mean, I know it's easy for me to say, and then you guys see comments, but it's like this many people. I don't know if there's a way to just try to block those people out. Because I took there's always going to be crazy people.
There is this trailer park filter that would like probably eliminate like 90% of them.
Oh my gosh, stop. Stop. I just try to like, I just really, try hard, just not to focus on it. I just, I hate to see him.
Yeah, you don't want somebody defending. Yeah,
and
he's the scum of the earth.
I think that when this, when this stuff starts coming out, and that's why we try to, be vocal about what happened to Kaylee and say, look, she wasn't just sleeping in her bed.
Okay, guys, this is what the Hive is. I'm gonna totally. You might think this is off the rails. This is not a conspiracy. This is somebody like myself and many of you here that I don't believe the official story. I've been having a problem even like following along with what is their side of the argument that they're on. So they're for sure positive it's Bryant Koberger and he's evil, yet they're saying how terrible of a job everybody in the system did and that they know stuff. But so I'm going to try to articulate this because my head is spinning, but a trailer park filter, that would eliminate 99% of them. Meaning that there's some sort of filter you could do that would wipe out anybody that lives in a trailer park, or if he associates people that with a trailer park that they might be stupid or whatever it is. Or was there a reason he said trailer park? And I don't want to sound crazy when I say that. If I sound crazy, let me know. But wasn't there some past history with trailer parks? And is that related to anybody that might have been in the drug game or no? Could absolutely be a stretch. I just don't feel like that a trailer park filter. If they've read the comments, and if you go look at this video, if you go look at Nancy Grace, guys, it's not just a small amount of people. It's really not. There's a lot of people that don't feel like this case is sitting right. Well, and I know that's what I'm saying. It was a dig at us for being stupid, maybe in his head or in his mind. I don't know. That's just something that I caught.
And to ignore all the evidence and just go with your own theory here. And these two could be seen can both be true too. Maybe the law enforcement messed up. I don't know. I don't read all the documents. I really try not to dive into it. You know what I'm saying?
You're consumed already.
I'm consumed with enough crap already. So see, the law enforcement made some mistakes. That doesn't mean that him innocent. I'm sorry, I can't even like.
Okay.
It doesn't make him innocent just because law enforcement made some mistakes, and I'm not denying or confirming that. I don't know.
There's
it
no
doesn't say
investigation.
They messed up, and because mistakes were made, it doesn't mean that they could have been honest mistakes. I don't even, like I said, I don't even know what I would be referring to as mistakes because I don't.
Well, a mistake would easily be like you're in front of the murder house doing minor in possession when you should be up there at the King Road house. I mean, that would be an example of why some people are
I'm
like,
just saying.
But I mean, at the end of the day, his DNA is on the knife sheath.
Yes.
He's on video speeding away,
yeah,
arriving, and then
one-way
speeding,
road, one-way road.
speeding off. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, all of the reports from before of his behavior at WSU. I mean, I don't know. It's not like there wasn't any evidence here.
You know, here's a big one for me, and a lot of people may think, oh, this is totally normal, but when he was arrested, 100% confirmed myself by me, he was sitting in his kitchen at whatever time it was back in Pennsylvania, late at night, early in the morning, whatever it was, wearing gloves, sorting trash into baggies. Why would somebody be doing that?
And then run.
Is that normal? They said, and by the time they got into the house, they had eyes on him. That's what he was sitting there doing. By the time they got into the house, he took off running, and they ultimately arrested him on the stairs. But yes, he was sitting at the kitchen table sorting trash.
So
with gloves on.
They did, but they announced the police are here, and they kicked down the door. The rest of his family stood exactly where they were. Only one person ran away and tried to hide. Only one. Actions speak louder than words, people. He's going through his trash, and the cops say, "We're here," and he runs off. But some people get it, some people
I mean,
don't.
he turned off his phone, and he had not shut his phone off like that from the cell. Who is it? Cellbrite.
Cellbrite basically showed.
Forensics said he had not turned his phone off like that in 9 months. So it's not like, dude, I turn my phone off every night. Like some people do. So some people say that's not really that weird. Well, do you turn it off at 1:56 a.m. and then?
In my opinion, it just seems like that would be a ridiculous amount of storage needed to track every single phone. Think of how many phones there are on a consumer level. What would it matter? And why would they ever store the data of every single person's phone for that long? It's a consumer phone. There's also no body cam in Pennsylvania too, which is wild.
Turn it back on at 4:32.
I just hate that you guys feel like you still have to prove this.
Well, we only have to do this because Thompson's retired, and he gave up on the case and thought that if I do a deal, my job's done.
It all goes away.
I have no responsibility to these families. I have no responsibility to my community. I have no more responsibility to you camera people. I feel like as long.
So that's right there, guys. I know that I've been kind of quiet. Like I said, again, my voice is raspy, but this is just what I don't understand. The case is done, right? Brian Kohberger took a plea deal, 4 life sentences. He can never appeal it. It's done. Acted by himself, lone wolf killer. What do you mean he gave up on the case and he took a deal? So your wife is saying that she is 100% positive that Brian did it. Am I losing my mind right now? Or I can't follow this. I literally cannot follow the argument being made.
He gave up on the case and thought that if I do a deal, my job's done.
It all goes away.
I have no responsibility to these families. I have no responsibility to my community. I have no more responsibility to you camera people. I feel like as long as there's a story to be told, that somebody needs to be working through that courthouse and clearing this up. It shouldn't be us. It should be one of them till they're exhausted in the face, beating these stories in there. It shouldn't be us. And if you say it shouldn't be us, we agree. But who else is going to step in here? Because we were quiet for months. And guess what? Release after release after release, and they had to be redacted because they did it wrong. And we were the ones picking up the phone or email and saying, you realize there's bodies in these photos, right? You guys realize you're not very good at what you're doing. You need to pull these back. So that's what happens when we get quiet.
Social security numbers, fingerprints and social security numbers,
fingerprints and social
names.
Computer number of college grads. These guys aren't bad people. These people have dedicated their lives to be like the best of the best. And you're gonna go give out their information so somebody could steal it?
That was a mistake. Whoops.
Oh, we're gonna give them 5.
What does this mean? They've dedicated their lives to being the best of the best, and now their information is out there and people could steal it?
computer number of college grads. These guys
Yeah.
aren't bad people. These people have dedicated their lives to be like the best of the best. And you're going to go give out their information so somebody could steal it?
What?
That was a mistake.
Oh,
Whoops.
we're going to give them 5 years of protection. Yeah, well, that doesn't cut it. That doesn't cut it.
So,
Yeah, they
5 years of protection to somebody whose social security number was in the docs. What? 5 years of protection because
the best of the best. And you're going to go give out their information so somebody could steal it?
that was a mistake. Whoops.
Oh, we're going to give them 5 years of protection. Yeah, well, that doesn't cut it. That doesn't cut it.
So,
Yeah, they basically
Credit.
offered those people after we told them what they did. They're like, well, we'll give them 5 years of protection for their credit history. No, you'll do it for the rest of their lives.
Well, and
for their credit history.
the one photo was pretty clearly, you could see a body in. I mean, I don't know how they missed that or didn't check it.
How do you miss a social security number?
Yeah.
You can't send a social security number to a hospital and not get flagged. Okay, we have systems that literally just understand that sequence of code gets flagged. So what were these guys doing? I mean, what?
Dude, I am just flabbergasted right now, to say the least. He is pissed off about random college kids' social security being in the docs. I get why having your social security number is out there, but it's like he's mad at the entire thing. 5 years of protection for their credit history? No, you're going to give it to them for their whole life. Their credit history, I mean, they'll steal your identity. Oh, man. All right. That's just confusing.
Yeah.
And fingerprints right along with them. So if you just really want to take on this person's identity, there you go.
the crime scene photos were bad. They were bad.
Yeah, they were inappropriate. You shouldn't lose your right to be a human being just because you died. And just because you were murdered in your bed, you're going to lose your right to HIPAA protections. Like, what? So I could go kill a bunch of people and then they lose all their right to their privacy. We get to share that. Like, we don't want to live in a world like that. That's not the kind of laws we want to defend. At least I don't.
Is there anything, I mean, that you guys can do? It shouldn't be your responsibility, but are they going to try to change any laws? Do you know? I mean,
we're trying to change laws. We were just talking to the management of Brad Little Friday and saying, hey, just the same thing. When somebody kills somebody, like, because there's a mental evaluation of the psychopath. And even though Thompson didn't want to use psychopath in the courtroom because he's a weak, pathetic prosecutor.
Like if it's not a real mental illness or something, I don't know.
He searched on his own phone. He searched up that he was a psychopath, but he didn't want to use it in court. So those type of things, that's his private HIPAA. So I'd be violating his rights if I went and looked at his HIPAA,
his medical
evaluation.
records.
But he can kill my daughter and the whole world gets to see those records. That's not what Idaho's going to stand for. Idaho will not stand for that.
So the argument for the law would be that any medical history or your HIPAA rights would protect you after death, essentially. That's what I'm picking up. So he's saying that Kaylee's medical history or other stuff shouldn't be out there. The victim's HIPAA, right, HIPAA should protect you past life. It should protect you even when you're dead. So it protects the living, but not the dead. What would the argument be behind that, though? Outside of, so if it's a murder, okay, well, the autopsy is released. So is there other stuff in somebody's medical files that when they're alive, they're protected by HIPAA, and if they were to die, people could get access to it, that they don't want that to be seen? Am I understanding that right? So it's protecting the psychopath when he's alive, but it's not going to protect his daughter or the victims when they're dead. But the autopsies were released as far as the info on them. Huh.
You're not going to murder someone and then their records get blasted out for the rest of the world to see and make profit off and watermark. And then they basically can make money off it because, you know, that's the system that
So
we're going to
people are putting their logo, like their like podcast
like
logo
it's their
in
property, the property to our.
What's in the bottom left of yours, Enton? It's a thing. People do it.
Our kids' worst moments of their lives. They're going to, how dare you share that? How dare you post it on your page? It belongs to me.
And I don't post any of that stuff on our page. I mean, I would never share the photos. I get it. If you're going to look at them, you're going to look at them. I mean,
but I don't like a system that supports this kind of behavior and makes it legal.
I mean, I don't like all the, just the very bottom feeders just sharing them and documenting and talking about them and blowing them up and zooming in. I don't like that aspect of it, you know, like be professional with them. You know, there is a professional manner that they can be handled. Be professional with them, you know, with your entity. Don't, you know. That's a good point. Is the professionals have moved on to the next story that matters, and they should have. And now we have these cesspool, trailer trash type style people. And we need to make a law that, like, unfortunately has to regulate the people that are at the lowest common denominator and say, you guys can't profitize and create this cesspool of lies. And because eventually after 10 years, this could form into like what happened with, I don't know the case, but it was in the Bay Area where he killed his wife and put concrete and sunk her down. Oh, Lacey Peterson.
Peterson just got a case. Like, so this stuff can form up and can actually create a momentum and go somewhere. So I'm not gonna stand quiet when they do that and try to do what happened to the Peterson family. I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to like nub it right now because I've seen what happens. So people say that there's no point to do it, but there is a point. I don't
understand why, you know, if you're a journalist like me, like, couldn't you have to go see them in person? Like I've seen that some places, like you show up and they're like, okay, you're in the room, we'll give you the file, but you don't get to take them with you. You know, if you just want to understand more, or you're writing a book or whatever, you know what I mean?
Or launch an appeal. If you want to go there and sit there and look at it all and then come back and be like, oh, that was a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. Fine. I'm not trying to hide evidence. I'm just trying to keep ghouls from turning my kid into a cash cow because my kid is worth more than them alive. That's what some of these losers are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's true. It's true. They'll make more money off of our kids than they'll make off of their own freaking efforts. It's terrible. It's disgusting. And watermarking things like this, think twice about that because that's really low. That's really low.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys for talking to me. I know it's.
Yeah, I would have probably ended it after that too. And there was, so I only started at the 40-minute mark, but we didn't even actually see the part that I wanted to show because it just got right into it. So I'm going to go back because this interview is telling. Are you guys cool if I go back? We watch the last 17 minutes that we missed in the beginning. One's in the chat. This is, again, kind of nice for me having my raspy voice. At least we can all still sit in here and chat. I can comment briefly, but all right, cool.
Up with other theories. And at the end, I mean, Brian Koberger, we were both in the courtroom, pled guilty, admitted to the murders. So what do you make of these people that are really hanging on to, you know, these other theories that are now floating around?
You know, I'm not really sure why they're still hanging on there. I mean, I don't know why they're trying to fight for him when he didn't fight for himself and neither is his own family. So why are these people out here, you know, trying to, you know, make this a different story than what it is? I don't know if it's just lack of knowledge, you know, just really not knowing the details, maybe being just very closed-minded and this warped sense of mind, just, reading, you can read both sides of the documents, this expert and this expert. Maybe they're just cherry picking what they want to fit their theory, to fit their analogy of what.
I'm not being rude, but how would she know if she says she doesn't read them? I'm serious. Like it's like you could listen to this in the beginning of the interview and then listen to the end of the interview, and everything that they're kind of saying that they don't get why people are doing by the end of the interview, it would make sense why people are doing it. I say that as respectfully as I can because it's confusing. It's hard to follow.
Happen. There's speculation because we know for a long time it was pure speculation because there was the gag order. We were all grasping at straws. You know what I'm saying? We all had little bits and pieces, and it just created a perfect storm. And it's like this petri dish, and all that's left is just the nothing but bacteria that just continues to grow. It needs a big dose antibiotic.
Yeah.
Heavy duty.
So Shannon was like, I was a little upset with the way that the plea deal went, and I felt like it wasn't quite. I didn't want to fight this battle for the rest of my life.
A little upset, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to fight this for the rest of my life, and I thought that more could be done. One thing Shannon did say was, Steve, that when somebody pleads for a mass murder and waives their right, never in the history have they ever had it overturned and got like a retrial. So a mass murder and then waiving your rights to the appeal means he goes away. Even though I thought without like the details of him saying whether the murder weapon was and different things was going to leave it open for people to, play these games in the true crime communities. So I think I'm right, but maybe in the reality of things, he's never going to get an appeal. That's not realistic. His DNA is in the crime scene. And he's never going to ever be. If he gets an appeal, then the whole world gets an appeal. All of American cases get opened up, and you have DNA at the ground. Like literally, what are you saying? You're going to say you're going to open up every single case because that's really what you would be doing. You'd be setting a precedent. So,
Yeah, that's the part I don't understand. The people who it seems like they forget that his DNA is on the knife sheath.
Well, and that's another part. That's another part that they explained, and they did a really good job. Is they said it. Steve, it's not just there. So we know people would say that they dropped that.
It was planted.
But it was aspirated. So there's aspirated blood from, unfortunately, our daughter and Maddie. But that means it was under pressure. That means that the droplets were, to be technical, it was an aspirated. So it was under pressure. So they landed and his DNA landed amongst that. So you couldn't just drop that sheath afterwards and still have the aspiration there. So they were like, we were going to destroy that argument that it was dropped after the fact because you couldn't have the victim's blood in the manner that it was there. So
it wasn't like smears where they could have just smeared some on it.
But when they tell you this and then the rest of the world doesn't get to hear it, you get mad that they're getting out of their jobs. They have a job to do. And just because.
See, can I say something though? That's where it feels like Ann Taylor's argument of the no chain of custody that's super secret on how they identified the trace DNA to be Brian would and could argue that. Even if you take the planting of the sheath out of it, and let's say that the sheath would have been impossible to be planted based on the aspirated blood from Kaylee. That does not mean, though, that after the sheath is removed, Kohberger's DNA or the trace DNA couldn't have ended up obviously as small and as trace of an amount as it was, couldn't have ended up there. Again, no chain of custody. That's my point, is that the aspirated blood could be accurate, but that doesn't mean that Brian's trace DNA was even there at that time. It really, with how sensitive trace DNA is, it could have happened from any cross-contamination. Chain of custody, even if that is accurate, chain of custody is vital. And when there's not chain of custody, it opens up speculation to everything. And it also opens up the door for lies when there's not chain of custody.
because you make a plea deal, doesn't mean you don't have a responsibility to communicate to the rest of your community, this is what you would have done. They just say, wash my hands, I'm done. And we can't do that in our jobs. We can't just go to our coworker and say, let's make a deal. Well, what is it? Well, we don't have to do any more of our work. We're done. If we could do that, a lot of us would go to work every weekend and make deals that we could get out of our jobs. So I think we're going to try to work towards those type of things getting fixed, where you make a plea deal, but you still explain. Maybe you do a mock trial. I don't know what that looks like, but I know it doesn't look like YouTube is going to do the trial for the next 4 years.
Well, and I think your case is unusual. I mean, it's just so watched. You know what I mean? Most people don't have to deal with what you guys have to deal with when there's a plea deal. Has anyone been bothering you guys? I mean, like Christy was saying before we got on here, this latest document dump has kind of energized some of these like pro-burger people. I mean, are people bugging you guys, or do they respect you? Or
they like to throw our name out there a lot, and they like to, go back and look at old interviews or whatnot, and call us liars about things and this and that. And the thing is, we never lied about anything. There may have been times during the case that we had been misinformed and we spoke, misinformed information, but contrary to what some people might or might not believe, it really doesn't matter to us. But we never intentionally lied. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so to think that at times that we didn't have misinformation would be, why are we held at this different standard? We were all under this gag order and fighting, and people were reaching out to us on different levels, and we were vetting that stuff. Like, is this true? Is this true? That, this person is this person, this person sounds really credible, like, I think this might really be true. Oh, that is absolutely not true. And we weren't just running with everything, I'm saying, that we were getting. So,
people are very simple-minded in the true crime community. Two things can be right. So Abbott could have been told, tell them that their daughters were asleep and they were attacked. That can be true, but her not going into the details of saying that they fought back and there was, there's all these details, that could be true as well. But she told us they were asleep and they were attacked and they'd been drinking. So that's what we went with. So it wasn't that we're lying. It was just, that's the truth as we knew it at the moment.
At that time. And things changed, like things evolved and things changed. So
and that's why I was mad when I found out there was more to it. But I wasn't lying when I said that. That's exactly what it was told to me as.
For years, we had what Kathy Mabbitt told us, the coroner, on the phone, and Kaylee's death certificate. For years, that's what we had. And we never added to that. We never said that more happened to Kaylee.
And then when we got the autopsy report, we're like, we just learned all these new facts. And they're like, you guys said you already knew. So
guys, again, can somebody help me understand? And I don't want to bring up any bad memories for somebody that's experienced something like this in their own life. Can somebody help me understand if there's no danger to the community that they said right from the jump, if they apparently knew who it was, there's so much DNA, there's so much tracing, like why is this for years? Are they not getting autopsy reports as their parents? Is there an explanation for that is reasonable, that doesn't just have us thinking only about this case? So there's national security, there's this, there's all these other things. I don't get it.
So things can get confusing, and that's what happens when you lose the leadership of a courtroom with professionals that dedicate 6-7 years to be educated into these matters and explain it.
Like real, a real journalist, not somebody that's sitting in their basement,
or a team of seasoned lawyers. These people are there for a reason because they're experts, and you can't reproduce that with just some random Joe Blow that's making. A good example of how ridiculous this is and what we've been fighting is people are getting records with our children's dead bodies in there, and the actual room, blood, guts, and all. And then
The what did he say before this? So the
people are getting records with our children's dead bodies in there, and the actual
what was he?
with our children's dead bodies in there, and the actual room with our children's dead bodies in there, and the actual room, blood, guts, and all. And then they put their little watermark on it, and we're not even allowed to use it. And we don't have the original doc, so we don't know if it's even true. And we're sitting here trying to figure out, is this AI? Is this real? What's going on? Is this even a true thing? Because we haven't been even given a copy yet, and they're not going to give us a copy. And if we go and share theirs, we're actually violating the law, even though it's our kids' freaking case. It's.
Well, we can get them, but a lot of these documents, we don't even know where they're coming from. We're going to the entities that we know have been putting them out, and they're not there. We're like, where did this person that has this watermark even get this document? Like, is it from ISP? Is it from Moscow? Is it from Ada County? Like, where's it coming from? And, we're not even able to see that. And we were always held under the impression that autopsy results were not going to be released, that those were protected by HIPAA. And this is something Bill Thompson told us. Why we believe Bill Thompson, who knows? It was one thing that I guess we held on to, that maybe he was telling the truth about.
$20,000.
But we listened to him, and
it cost you $27,000 for what?
Maybe he was telling the truth about.
$20,000.
But we listened to him, and so when those came out last Friday,
it was news to us.
It was news to us.
And did you know everything in those? I mean,
no, those details are completely different than the coroner's report.
Well, the coroner, but we do have autopsy report. I don't think any of us that we got the day of sentencing on a thumb drive. We got
Kaylee's 21 page.
And I don't think that any of us, I know I haven't have actually like combed through it, and just been like, it's not easy to do. That's not something that, we've done. And it's a little different when you're like seeing this stuff on, on the internet, and now, it's being talked about.
Just be honest. Even if we did get that, which we did get a 21 page thing.
I'm just saying we didn't go through it.
It didn't have the other victims, and the whole totality of what this individual did when they're asking us to make a plea deal. We didn't get that.
That's what I was wondering. I mean, do you think that you and the other families should have, because when I was just reading, I was on vacation, so I just now read through the new documents, and you guys know I've covered this story and the case and everything inside and out, but like seeing the number of wounds on all of the kids
was enraging.
Takes on another, and I mean, and it's not pictures, it's just the words of it. And when you see in parentheses like 24, the different, the number of wounds, like it takes on a different feeling, the whole thing.
It's a different reality.
Yeah.
It's a new reality, because now you're becoming aware. And to hide those things from the parents is disgusting. They hid that from us. And that was just our own child, let alone all the children together, and say, we're gonna ask you to make a plea deal right now. And here's 21 pages of a PDF. How much time do you need to read this to make this decision? It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous.
I don't think we were privy to the other kids' information.
We were not.
We were not.
That's the whole point.
I didn't need to know what happened to the other kids to make our decision on how we felt, wanting the death penalty in the trial. So, but learning about that stuff was very hard, and there were things that, having it, like boom, here it is on the internet, and social media outlets are talking about it and going over each and every little one that catch your attention. I learned things that I was not aware. So I just learned some new things that happened to Kaylee last week.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, if my daughter would have been killed while she was sleeping, it would have been described the way it was first described, and I would have learned what happened to Xana, I wouldn't have given him the deal. Just off of what he did to that girl alone, let alone all of them together, the totality of everything. it was outrageous to hide what happened to these victims. Like that girl.
You mean the fact that she was like standing up in the room and everything?
She fought.
That part alone is just wild to me. That why wouldn't you have given him the deal? Because you wanted him to go to trial for the death penalty? Is that really what it's about? Is just so that he'll be killed? It seems like there's a lot more anger with the system, and that he just said, I wouldn't have believed what they told me if I had seen Xana's wounds, and I wouldn't have given him the deal. Why? Is that because then it would have gone to trial and they would have figured out there's no way that just Brian did it, or that Brian didn't do it at all?
Like she went through everything that she went through. That should have been honored with not a deal. You don't deal with the worst people in your society unless you're just a weak prosecutor who's looking to run out the exit. I mean, you have DNA in the crime scene. I mean, the FBI gave it to you like a gift, and you want to refuse to use it? I can't accept that. And I told him this. I told him this before he made his deal. I will not back you. And if you want to go there, but you will not have our support.
Yeah. Did you get any warning? Or I read a few different things. Like when those photos came out from ISP, like, did they call you guys first?
Yes. Olivia got a call for whatever reason. They called Olivia and they said, we just want to give you a heads up. These are going to be dropping within the next couple hours on the ISP page. Okay. So by the time she got off the phone, there was a 12-minute phone call. By the time she got off the phone and went to ISP, they were already there. So she saw, she got a hold of me. She saw very quickly there were some, very not questionable, just there were victims in the pictures, and she got a hold of them in there. She was like, there are victims in the pictures here. And they took it down. But in the meantime, whoever got those pictures, you know what I'm saying?
And now they're making money off of them. It's disgusting.
But the autopsy results that came out on Friday, we still don't even know where those actually came from. I don't know if we figured it out.
But
I don't know.
Watermarked, so be careful if you share.
You mean the only autopsy results I saw were in those 155 pages released by the court? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Where it just kind of details the different wounds.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they cite their official autopsy results and whatnot, and there's some very detailed,
it's personal
descriptions in there.
Anybody put yourself in our shoes. If you went and did like an application and you did like a drug test or you did some kind of background check, that shouldn't be public information. Yeah. And a killer shouldn't say, because we've asked for his records and they tell us for HIPAA, we can't share his mental evaluation. So he can kill my daughter, steal her rights to her protection, because now she's dead, so she gets no protection. So you guys can all share my daughter's records because this guy killed her, but we can't see his records. That's against the rules.
And the photos, I don't understand why people would want to publish the photos. The wounds, I felt like it was important for people to know. Like you said, I mean, no one really, it hits you in a different way when you read that. What happened to all of them, like just what, I don't know. It felt, that to me felt important. I don't think anybody knew.
And that's why I always felt like as a family, we were transparent about things that happened to Kaylee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we didn't go through as like a medical examiner and go down.
I also feel like, so with Brian, how can I say this? I'm trying to generalize here. And you can't say that Brian's history was protected. Everybody tore up everything. He was an incel. He was autistic. People knew he was a vegan. He might have been taking certain medications. They knew about every wild thing that people have said about him, all the complaints, right? Doesn't that it? So it's like, if they're dead and the autopsy reports, I mean, Brian even said, I think it's important for people to see that because it tells the truth, but there was stuff out there too about Brian that most likely would have stayed personal and was dug up. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm not saying that their argument for keeping some things personal about their children if they're dead. Yeah, I agree with that. There's I think all of us would agree with that. You don't need everything out there. But when it comes to the crime and the investigation, I'm not sure.
On the line of what had happened, but we felt that we told the world what happened to Kaylee, like in its totality. We can't speak on the other victims. We didn't know about the other victims, that's not our place to speak. But right away, when we found out that Kaylee had bad face damage and missing teeth and a broken nose and brain bleeds, stabbed in the face all those times, we spoke on that. We spoke out about it because we felt it was important too, that people know that she wasn't just stabbed, a couple times in her sleep, which is equally as bad. I mean, I don't know if it's equally as bad, but it's bad. It's bad, So
I want people to understand, when we say that these victims fought harder than Thompson defended them, I want them to read those docs, read all of them, and say, did these victims fight harder than this prosecutor fought to defend them? And I think it's pretty clear.
We're saying that, yeah, they did fight back. And then we're saying that if you're saying Bill Thompson didn't defend them, how does Bill Thompson defend victims? Bill Thompson would defend the victims by finding the right person. And so, yes, I would agree. We are looking at that and we are realizing they fought hard as hell. And therefore, the lack of Bill Thompson fighting hard and offering a plea deal to Brian Kohberger, as you say yourself, because he's halfway out the door to retirement and he sucks. He's not fighting hard to defend the victims because he's not going out and pursuing the truth. And after seeing how hard the victims fought, the truth would be this is not done the way Bill Thompson is saying that it's done. You could make that point using the quotes from this one 45-minute, hour-long interview.
I think even with what happened to Xana and our daughter, it was clear these guys fought, and Thompson was a weak, pathetic man. And he ran. So he has to own it.
The other thing I was thinking about when I was reading it was just the rage that Kohberger had, there's never been any evidence, I guess, that he had it out for any of the victims, but it's just hard. It's hard to imagine this was just totally random. Like,
it was.
This part is crazy. This is crazy. It's like Enton kind of knows. It's like he's kind of realizing it in real time.
There's never been any evidence, I guess, that he had it out for any of the victims, but it's just hard. It's hard to imagine this was just totally random. Like,
it wasn't random.
It wasn't random. It was.
So it wasn't random. There's no evidence. They're like, yes. And then they go, it's not random. But then at the end of this, as we watched, kind of out of order a little bit, they say, I'm 100% positive that it's Brian.
It's just a pathetic prosecutor. So we're learning things through other, there's other laws that have to come into effect. And we've learned that he defined these things. He purposely, it was a strategy not to say that was sexually motivated, even though he was doing murder porn on his phone and they found that. And it was also purposely that he said it wasn't stalking, because that would have tied their hands. That would have tied the community's hands, where they would have had to publish that every 23 times he was out there and about, he was stalking. They would have had to put that on a webpage. They would have been obligated.
Wait, what?
That community, the universities, every stalking event that would have happened in Moscow would have been recorded. So he purposely decided, I'm not even going to pursue stalking, because that is going to hurt the university more than if I just say, we're not even going to try to, we're not going to go down that road. We don't need to, because I got the DNA in the crime scene. He didn't need to. So he backed off of that stuff, but that doesn't mean he's not guilty of doing it.
So you think he saw Kaylee around, followed her around, something like that?
They're going to show overlapping between their timing records, some of the victims' timing records, which they had. Now, they didn't have Brian's timing records because it went past 7 days, but they're going to overlap his pings in Idaho and their timing advance records and where they were at the same places at the same time, because there's other records like receipts and surveillance. There were ATMs. There was all these different things they were going to say. These victims and this perpetrator were here at the exact same time, multiple times over and over and over again. That's what I believe personally, is my opinion, they were gonna establish in the case that they ran away from.
Have they warned you guys if there's more to come in terms of releases? Or
we know there is, just because we haven't even got to the original county yet. We're still in Ada County. All these releases are on Ada, so we haven't even got to the real meat of the releases. So they're going to show overlapping between their timing record and their timing event records like receipts over and over and over again. That's what I believe personally, is my opinion, they were going to establish in the case that they ran away from.
Have they warned you guys if there's more to come in terms of releases? Or
we know there is, just because we haven't even got to.
It's like he was about to say Idaho, which I get. I know it's a little bit strange. I'm just picking up on, or I'm just hanging on to every word in a way. Whenever I watch this is how I would typically be like, wait, why? There's things that he doesn't stutter on, and then there's other things that he does. And he had said, we're going to put Idaho on the map.
Away from.
Have they warned you guys if there's more to come in terms of releases? Or
we know there is, just because we haven't even got to the original county yet. We're still in Ada County. All these releases are on Ada, so we haven't even got to the real meat of the releases. So yeah,
we know more's coming. We don't know what's in it.
We've been trying to find out about the leak investigation that we don't feel like's even happening. We think it's fake, because we were the first. My lawyer was the first one to point out that there was a leak in this investigation before it ever even got to Dateline. And we've never even been contacted. He's never been contacted. So to us, there is no investigation going on whatsoever. So we emailed them directly, and they basically just told us, leave, get out of here. We're not going to tell you anything. We're not going to tell you the truth. You don't need to know the truth. We're going to do our investigation, and maybe you'll know what happened. And I said, you know what? You can say that, but I'll go to the media and I'll let people understand that that's the kind of leadership that we have in this case right now.
So that's kind of that's exactly actually where we had started. And I'm going to rewatch this and take some notes on it, and then I'll clip the most interesting parts of it. However, Hive, I know I didn't say much tonight. I saw somebody, can somebody tell me what the name of that thing was, who's an ENT, where it's not just a raspy voice, that I should actually go, vocal cord nodes or something. It happens like to singers or something. If anybody knows what that was called, I tried to write it down, because now I'm like, damn, I've had a raspy voice now for like a month. So if anybody knows that. Tonsils, polyps, nodes, vocal nodules. Okay. All right. Man, it's brutal. And again, I apologize, but it was great to be back tonight, Hive. Remember the new schedule, Monday through Friday now, moving forward for the spring and the summer. Super excited about that. We got some exciting things that we're going to be doing here in the Hive. And with that, I hope everybody has a fantastic night. Happy to be back. I will see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. Cheers, everybody.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.